Hello, and welcome to our introduction to the consulting industry. My name is Mike Ross. I'm a member of the Case Coach team, but I'm also a former interviewer at Mckinsey. In this short video, we're going to talk about what management consulting is, who it's for, and what you need to do to become a management consultant. Consulting is a multifaceted and exciting career. It can be all sorts of different things. As a consultant, your main focus is on solving complex problems. But there's all sorts of different types of problems that you could be asked to solve in different sectors and industries. Your clients are likely going to be big organizations who can afford the hefty fees that management consultants charge. When they have a high-stakes problem to solve with potentially billions of dollars of impact, they involve management consultants. They want to make the right call so they don't solely rely on their own staff. This means that, as a consultant, you will be moving from organization to organization, working only on their most important problems. Every day, you will be involved in the types of projects that most employees at big organizations get to see maybe once in their career. It's a true privilege. The types of projects you can do can include things such as helping an organization find new opportunities, so helping them rethink their business model, identifying ways to grow both now and further in the future, or helping them come up with new, innovative products and services. You could also diagnose the cause of an organization's biggest challenges and provide tailored solutions to them. And then the last thing can be just to improve the performance of an organization, making them more efficient. You may work in a variety of sectors. This can include services such as banking, travel, insurance, manufacturing such as pharmaceuticals, aerospace, or consumer goods, as well as natural resources, tech firms, governments, and nonprofit organizations such as education institutions and NGOs. Initially, management consultants were focused on strategy work, but nowadays the work is a lot more varied. You may help companies take advantage of new technologies. Top firms have been growing digital teams focused just on this. You may also work on marketing strategy, helping organizations reorganize themselves or optimize their operations. As a consultant, you will still get to do strategy work, but you will also work in all corners of organizations. Consultants do everything, and as a consequence, being a consultant comes with all sorts of different perks and also some catches. As a consultant, you're going to get to work on things that are important, challenging, and diverse. You'll gain experience in many sectors and functions. You'll travel all over the world and enjoy the perks of business trips. Your colleagues will generally be passionate about solving problems and will be among the smartest, most inspiring people you'll get to meet. You're likely to forge lifelong friendships during your time in consulting. The environment is very positive and supportive. And although consulting firms are full of driven people, the culture is very collaborative and not political up until you reach partner elections. You will learn new skills, highly transferable to other jobs. And your career is going to progress very quickly, with promotions scheduled every couple of years. You'll earn a high salary relative to your peers in other industries, perhaps with the exception of banking or maybe corporate law. And if you do well, becoming a partner is a realistic option, often within 10 years, bringing in several $1 million of annual compensation. And if you decide to take a break, that's an option as well. Maybe you want to take 3 months or a couple of years off. Maybe you want to move to another office or go to business school. Since consulting is project work, there is no need for anyone to cover for you when you are away. Many firms will even pay for your MBA. And when you leave the profession, you will get to have a choice between plenty of exciting roles. Overall, this seems like a pretty good deal. So if you're the type of person that really likes accelerated challenges, consultant could really be for you. But the downsides include that you generally work pretty long hours. The reality is that the consultant work week can average between 60 to 80 hours. Consultants are not afraid to work. But the amount of work is really going to vary by firm and location, the types of projects you're working on, and who you're working with and who the leadership is on the project. You'll also spend lots of time away from home, although there's more and more flexibility around that happening in the industry. On top of this, you will have to withstand high pressure. You will be doing important work where high quality results have to be delivered quickly no matter what. You will always be stretched by the fast learning, quick progression, and the feedback culture. You will always be pointed at what you can do better. Most firms have an up or out policy, where in every given year, the lowest performers in the class are asked to leave. In addition, you'll be asked to navigate your career without knowing what's coming up next, and you will have little time to rest on your laurels. So consulting is also a taxing career choice that requires a lot of drive and stamina to sustain on the long run, or at least for a couple of years. Now let's talk about what a typical day in the life of a consultant could look like. The reality is that they always look different. But let's look at the sort of things you would do once your alarm buzzes. On a Monday morning, you get up bright and early, go down to the airport, jump on an early morning flight to the client's site, and you get to their office before 10. Maybe you start by interviewing members of the client's organization to collect insights. You have a hypothesis around where the problem solution may lie, so you're collecting insights around that. You then meet up with your client sponsor, that's the person who actually hired the consultants to do the work, and you share a quick plan for the week and say, this is what we're going to achieve. You then check in with the team and get lunch together with the client. In the afternoon, you get to have a call with a subject matter expert. You're learning about the client's industry or the specific issue at stake. You're trying to understand a broader picture for what might be going on, what might be causing their problems. Next, you're back at your desk crunching some numbers, finding the insights, and synthesizing your preliminary findings and recommendations on a few slides. Maybe you'll share those with the client afterwards. You'll then do a session with the team to share everyone's findings and agree on how the findings change the plan. That's when you really get to engage with the partners and get their guidance on how to best help the client and what to do next. After that, perhaps you'll go out for dinner and a drink with the project team, or hit the gym, and then you're off to bed. The rule of thumb historically has been that consultants are on client sites from Monday through Thursday and then back in their home offices on Friday. But as I said earlier, there's more and more flexibility. People want greater work-life balance and can do more of the work remotely. So consultants are trying to be smarter about optimizing for really impactful travel, as opposed to just traveling for travel's sake. That said, you're probably still going to work some pretty long hours, and you're probably still going to have to travel at some point in your consulting career. No 2 days are going to look alike, and the one certainty is that everything is going to change all the time. If that's the kind of thing that's attractive to you, then consulting may be the right place. Consulting offers various attractive exit opportunities. Regardless of whether folks leave at an analyst, consultant manager, principal, or even a partner level, the experience that they've gained as consultants provides them with unparalleled exit options. We're talking about things like leading a large company, going into private equity or venture capital, switching to the public sector, or starting their own business, doing whatever inspires them, and skipping steps in the organizational ladder. Few professions are going to train your leadership skills as deeply as consulting, and ex-consultants are more likely to become a Fortune 500 CEO than folks after any other profession. If you look at the world's most influential companies, many of them are led by former consultants, including Facebook and Google at the time of this recording. A rule of thumb is that in just a year in consulting, you will get as much senior exposure and experience as many business challenges and will receive as much mentorship as 3 years in a corporate job. The skill set that you'll gain is widely recognized and respected and prepares you well for any leadership role. It will enable you to enter whatever industry you're entering in a higher level and better pay. Many of the consulting firm alumni networks have tens of thousands of members all around the world, many of whom are now running these large, influential companies. The majority of those who leave consulting find their next job through this network. There is no one that former top consultants love to hire more than another former top consultant. Overall, this means that the consulting experience is a calling card to pretty much any career option in any location. Now, there are many different consulting firms to choose from. They differ in size, types of projects they take, and the sectors that they specialize in. But all of them offer opportunities to solve high-impact problems. The other universal thing across all management consulting firms is that the people you work with will be ambitious, interesting, educated, smart, and really good problem solvers. What is the general breakdown of consulting firms? Well, the first thing a lot of people talk about is what are called the top three: McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. These are big strategy consulting firms that really do all sorts of work and run the gamut across all sectors and functions. They are the most selective, prestigious, and expensive. The next level down is some strategy firms like Kearney, LEK, or Oliver Wyman. These are places that do the same type of broad-based strategy work and have the same model as McKinsey, BCG, and Bain do, but perhaps they don't have the same size and feel more entrepreneurial. Each of them is stronger in some geographies, sectors, or functions than in others. Then there are specialized or boutique firms or divisions generally specialized in a particular sector, function, or geography. There are thousands of such firms, and few of them have a global footprint. Some of the biggest ones include IQVIA in life sciences, Newton in operations, Gartner in technology, and Delta Partners in TMT. Some were started by consultants who used to work at one of the top strategy houses. Others were created by large businesses as an advisory division to monetize their expertise. If you want to specialize in a specific area, you want to have a close look at these firms. Finally, we have lumped together the strategy practices of the Big Four and Accenture. The Big Four are Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG. These are mega firms, many times bigger than the top three, with huge teams focused on accounting and on implementation consulting work. They used to do very different work than the top three management consulting firms. However, in recent years, they have all invested in building up strategy practices that now rival the top three in terms of impact and diversity of their work. They have acquired independent strategy firms such as Monitor, Booz Allen, and Parthenon, and have huge scale and deep expertise that they use to compete with the top three. We've provided a pretty simple framework for management consulting firms, but there are also teams in large corporates or technology firms that do similar works to that which consultants do. These companies have in-house consulting teams, just like they have in-house legal teams. They're a good place to look at if you like the nature of the consulting work, but maybe you want to be exposed to all sorts of aspects of that organization and perhaps want a better lifestyle. Who is consulting made for? Consulting is a good fit for people with three main qualities. And it really doesn't matter which firm we're talking about. Whether they're very large or very small, they have a wide range of clients or they specialize in a particular industry. The consulting firms all want candidates who are strong problem solvers, communicators, and achievers. What are we talking about in each of these? Well, a problem solver is someone that is good at and enjoys cracking difficult problems. Are you the type of person that perhaps in the supermarket will start thinking about how, if they had another cash register but they moved it over here, they could optimize the flow and sell more products? Are you the type of person that is always thinking all the time about how to make a situation you're in better? Well, that's the type of person consulting firms are looking for. And particularly people who are very good at solving these problems in a structured way, who are good with numbers and are logical, who can come up with creative solutions, and who are naturally insightful about business. However, it is not good enough to have a great answer to the problem. Consultants also need to communicate that answer well in a synthesized format and in a way that gets people interested in moving forward with it. That's why firms are looking for good communicators. It does not just mean being an articulate speaker. It also means having good listening skills and being someone who will hear what the client is saying, whether it is an insight or an opinion. And it means being credible in front of senior executives, being someone that the partner will be comfortable leaving alone in a meeting, someone who will speak with confidence and have good emotional intelligence in a high-stakes conversation. Finally, you need to be an achiever. This means someone who has the drive and stamina to land the project successfully, who will push themselves to the next level without necessarily being asked to do so, who will adapt and be resourceful when facing difficulties. This is also someone who has the skills to convince the most reluctant stakeholders, who will know how to navigate the team dynamics to energize the group. This requires empathy, which is a very important skill in consulting. You'll do a lot of work in teams and a lot of work with clients. So being empathic to their questions and to what it is that they're struggling with is going to be very important to bring them on board and motivate others. Again, the question here for a consulting firm when they're looking at an applicant is whether that person has the potential to be successful in the job, solving difficult problems, working with challenging clients, and tackling all sorts of stumbling blocks. So what are we talking about? Now that we've convinced you that consulting is a job for you, what do you have to do to get a job in consulting? Well, unlike many other industries, the process of getting a job in consulting is a much more rigorous process. It's not just that you throw in a resume and they have you in for an interview just to make sure you're not crazy. There's really 4 steps that you have to do to break into the industry, and each of those is going to take some effort. Step number 1 is that you have to decide, do you really want to be a consultant? You need to research the industry and the different firms out there. To help you, we provide a lot of articles about consulting careers on the Case Coach blog. Perhaps you're hesitating between consulting and banking or joining a startup. We have pieces about all of these questions so you can make the right decision for yourself. Step number 2 is applying. This involves connecting with consultants to really understand what the target firm is looking for and the roles that are available. Then you will have to build an application that reflects how you fit with the firm and will pass the screening. This is a critical step because management consulting firms are among the most selective employers and reject most candidates at this stage. To help you build a successful application, sign up to our resume course on Case Coach. It is completely free. Whether you're an undergraduate student, an MBA candidate, or an experienced professional, we have built this course with the insights of former recruiters at top firms, and we provide downloadable templates and examples of successful resumes and cover letters. Step number 3 is preparing. Again, it's very, very hard to get into consulting firms, and so the preparation phase is crucial. You need to not only recognize the qualities that candidates need to demonstrate, but you also have to be able to show that you have those abilities. You have to learn different parts of the interview process and what the best approach to each part of that is. And you have to practice, practice, practice. The key to this is making sure that you're doing these live practice interviews with peers and consultants. It's a lot of work to prepare for consulting interviews. And lastly, the interviews. These involve multiple interview rounds, often 2 or 3 rounds of 2 to 3 hour-long interviews each. You'll have to show that you're capable of solving problems like a consultant and that you are the communicator and achiever that they are looking for. And then, obviously, what you really are aiming for is the opportunity to receive an offer and go to work at that consulting firm of your dreams. Let's dig into the interview a little bit more. So the interview is this crucial element in the process. In fact, it is the most important part of the process of getting a job in a management consulting firm. And there's 2 big parts to the interview. This is what we call the fit interview and the case interview. The fit interview typically starts with a short introduction of your background, followed by a discussion of some of your key achievements and motivation. This section of your interview is primarily focused on testing whether you are an achiever and whether you've demonstrated abilities transferable to consulting in past situations. You're going to have to come prepared with structured stories that highlight those qualities. Of course, the discussion will also be an opportunity for the interviewer to test whether you are a good communicator. The fit interview is usually weighted at about 50% of your assessment, but most candidates neglect this part of the interview in their preparation. It's critical to get this part right, and it's a really good area where you can stand out from other candidates. Let's now look at the case interview. The case interview is focused on testing whether you are a problem solver. In a case interview, you will be given a problem to solve that simulates a consulting project. You will start by proposing an approach to solve the problem. You will then work through the case with your interviewer, carrying out analyses that inform the answer, and finally you will synthesize your findings and share your recommendation. It's a really unique and notoriously difficult interview format. Building the skills to nail these types of interviews requires extensive preparation and a lot of practice. We have created Case Coach to help you succeed at consulting applications. In just 3 years, over 10,000 candidates have used our platform to double their chance of receiving an offer. In the interview prep course, you will learn how to stand out in each dimension of the interviews. You will have access to all the video lectures, sample interviews, case material, and practice tools you need for success. Next, our practice room provides you with the opportunity to practice cases with other top candidates. Then you can bring your performance to the next level with private coaching sessions delivered by our former interviewers. Whether you're just considering a career in consulting, you're currently putting together your application, or you're preparing for an interview, Case Coach will give you all the insights and resources you need to secure an offer at a top firm. Thank you for watching until the end. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to get more free video and prep material, just follow the link below to sign up to our mailing list. I hope to see you soon on Case Coach.